Welcome everybody to another episode of Banter with the Brothers. I'm your host, Aaron Moore, alongside my other host, Garfield Campbell to my right, Carl Kenner to my left.
Okay, you know this right from his left. Let's go.
Okay, Florida school system doing well. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Anyway, we got a good show for you. It's been a couple weeks since we've been at it, but we are back again. Another week, another episode. So we'll get things started. We just had Thanksgiving. So first of all, how was everybody's Thanksgiving?
It was lit.
It was decent still, I won't lie. But
oh shit. So
sometimes a big booty, but but nah, no one's stole any crab legs.
That's what I'm talking
That's a big one for you.
But
the listeners who have been around for a while,
they understand that.
Yeah.
And no, I don't eat crab legs anymore. But yeah.
Vegan life.
Yeah, my
life.
My vegan lasagna was ruined by the zucchini. I'm not gonna explain that, bro. It's just though. That's all it was. I ate though. I ate a lot. It was good. Family straight. I was drunk the night before.
What you do for Thanksgiving Eve?
I went to some bar with Jungle and Ray.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see a bunch of people from high school?
Did I? It wasn't my high school that was in there. It's like St. Joe's and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Carl?
just stayed at the crib, ate, minded my damn business. I'm not went to Thanksgiving dinners. It was lit. Everybody made it. Not everybody made it. I ain't gonna snitch and say who didn't make it, but they didn't.
What can you give the people in terms of them not making it?
If you was over 26, you didn't make it. That's all I gotta say. A lot of people didn't make it. A lot of people were lit. I said a lot of people were lit.
Barely made the cut. This guy right here. It be like shit.
But yeah, a lot of people didn't make it.
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that. But I know everybody made it home safe. Food was good.
You guys get shipped off to war?
I ain't gonna hold you though. I didn't realize how much I ate. One of my housemates brought back like a plate of food. Like the next day, you get like Thanksgiving, like.
Of course, you gotta leave with a plate.
Yeah, I ate all that. And I found out it was like 8 pounds of food. And I ate 8 pounds in one sitting.
I mean,
You something different.
Yeah.
were you sober when all of this happened?
Bro, like I just sat down and ate it.
Did you eat the entire day before?
Yeah, I ate Thanksgiving.
Is this an interrogation of someone in like a mental institution right now?
No, I just never heard anybody sitting and eating 8 pounds of food in one sitting. That's a lot of food.
Yeah,
It was
that's
light.
crazy.
I ain't gonna hold you. It was very light.
It was light.
Y'all in Georgia, y'all built different.
Yeah, bro.
Coming from a Florida man.
I'm not Florida man. Let's get that
I said
clear.
coming from a Florida man.
Yes, not the.
You're not Florida man.
Yeah, man.
A Florida man. There's a difference.
Anybody watch any Thanksgiving football? That was a big tradition.
First
I
off,
thought it was terrible.
before I get
Did you?
yelled at by everybody.
Dylan thought it was terrible.
I'm
Carl.
not an Eagles fan, but I'm wearing the Eagles hat. Giants do suck though. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna let y'all know that. Y'all are trash. Y'all are trash. Odell need to start playing quarterback. Saquon Barkley needs all the touches. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know who your new coach is, but he needs to be fired.
Already?
Wait, is Atlanta letting you slide with that hat right now?
What you mean?
He's keeping it in the Bird family.
What you mean, bro?
I'm just saying.
Bro, everybody that's a real Atlanta fan know we went where Michael Vick went. That's all I gotta say. Next question.
Man, that's crazy.
He's not on the team no more.
It's been a minute.
That's not who they lost to.
What? What you mean?
See, I be.
Oh, the Super Bowl? Oh, no, it's the Falcons. Nah, he couldn't do that. I mean, the Falcons lost to the Patriots.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you meant.
I thought that's who they lost to.
Nah, that's a completely
See,
different
watch
Super
out.
Bowl.
Be paying attention to football.
So you clearly didn't watch any Thanksgiving football.
No.
Straight
No.
like that.
Did you watch any, AB?
I did not. I was at my cousin's. She's a 3-year-old son. And anytime we tried to change the TV from Paw Patrol, my man was in a fit.
Oh, so he had the cartoons on lock.
Oh, yeah, it was straight cartoons. I never knew as much as I do now about Paw Patrol. So,
What is it called?
What's it?
Paw Patrol.
What's it
Paw?
about?
Paw is some dogs
Paw.
that are like, some of them are police, some of them are fire, like people.
So it's like a community of dogs.
Dogs, and they
A
just
group of
Black men don't cheat.
A group of 6 rescue dogs. A group of 6 rescue dogs that led a tech-savvy boy named Ryder has adventures in Paw Patrol.
It's like the new cartoon that kids watch. It's like the
Yeah.
old. Think of the old cartoons you watch when you were
I
little.
ain't got no
Pink Panther?
kids, so I don't know.
Well, I don't got kids either. Don't let us get that straight up.
No, but I'm saying
straight
I'm
up
not
and out
putting
the
them-
way. I do not have any kids, but
I don't have no kids.
I have a son.
listen, don't play. Don't play.
Boy,
See, I knew the bullshit was coming.
at some point.
But yeah, so unfortunately, I did not.
Do you want to do a transition then from football to actual football?
Yeah, of course.
Transition right there. You know
That's
what
it,
I'm saying?
Carl. I see transition game.
Since none of us watch football,
Yeah,
But
clearly.
Yeah.
some of us play football.
Yeah.
But want to get into Chelsea legend, and I will say football legend. And the reason I say that is because of what I'm about to read to you. So we lost a legend in. If you are part of this generation of soccer fans or football fans, depending on where you are from, Didier Drogba is an iconic figure. Didier Drogba just retired. I'm pretty sure he has over 100 caps for his country. That's a lot. It's over 100 games played for
Fact check.
the country. And also, mind you, the most important thing he ever did for his country was before they went to the 2006 World Cup in Germany, Cote d'Ivoire, where he's from, Ivory Coast, otherwise known as, was in a civil war. He was the captain of the team at the time. He told the country, like, we will not go play at the World Cup unless y'all stop the fighting. During the World Cup, while they were at, like, the two, rival factions in the country stopped fighting during the World Cup. And for the World Cup, to watch, like, the entire country could come together and watch Ivory Coast play. And during those, like, 2 weeks that the World Cup was going on, the country solved, like, whatever. I don't know the details. I'm not going to get into it. It's a whole political and, like, social, like, you know what I mean? That's a way deeper issue than I know of it. But they were able to, like, come to a ceasefire and end the war. So he, in essence, ended the civil war in his country.
He was in the locker room surrounded by all his teammates and fell to his knees on national television, giving warning factions to lay out the arms, and within weeks, his bold wish had been granted. I just was something I did instinctively. He explains all the players hated what was happening to our country, and reaching the World Cup was the perfect emotional wave on which to ride.
So let me break this down then. So Didier Drogba, first off, I don't play soccer, but I know Didier Drogba because of FIFA 12, FIFA 13.
Okay.
On Chelsea.
Okay.
You pass it to him in the paint, that's a bucket. Right?
Facts.
Two, Cote d'Ivoire, fast break. That's all they do is just run, right? That team, as soon as you get the ball, pass, everybody's out, all right? So
fast.
that's for the people, you know what I'm saying, that don't watch soccer. But then also, just from that story, this man was also Malcolm X and Martin Luther King at the same damn time while playing soccer.
Yo, round of applause for Didier Drogba, man. Come on.
The game is missing. The game will miss a legend.
Yeah, listen.
I think what this also needs to go to, bro, is like, you know how they was coming at like LeBron and they was just like, shut up and dribble? Bro, athletes can stop stuff as well, bro.
Facts.
They
Speak
have
on
a
it.
voice. They got a voice as well.
Preach, Carl.
Speak on it, bro. Speak on
I
it.
think that just that fact itself, you know what I'm saying, it stopped the whole entire Civil War. I didn't see like anyone else trying to stop that shit. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, war, money, you know, motherfuckers not trying to stop it, but he stopped it. So
That's
I
a big
think
fact.
that's
Big
what a lot of
fact.
people need to look into.
Big facts.
Ball is not just life.
Facts.
Jeffy
being an Arsenal fan, this is going to be an interesting take.
It's not
Drogba
interesting.
has so many
Stop.
memorable games against y'all.
Stop.
He
See,
was-
now I'm about to say something nice. Now you want me to say something that's not so nice.
I just want to see what
Not
you
nice.
react.
Anyway, Drogba, legend. You know what I mean? Hated when he played against us. Scored every time.
He was a bucket.
Like every time he played against us, he scored. Big game player. Did a lot for his country. I respect Drogba. I have nothing bad to say about Drogba. So yeah.
Do you have anything good to say about him? Shit.
Yeah, I just said
Yeah,
it.
he did. He said it. He said his piece.
Rihanna is also a fan of Drogba.
She's a massive fan.
Yeah.
I mean, who isn't?
But I love Rihanna, so that's how I know that.
Now the reason I bring up, or I brought up earlier,
Yeah.
Drogba is a legend of the game to me, is because there's a writer who runs a website called Zonal Marking. His name is Michael Cox. He also writes, I think, for ESPN, right? So a very good writer, very well known English dude. I saw on Twitter, Chelsea tweeted, "Enjoy your retirement at Didier Drogba. Thanks for the wonderful memories." There was a picture of Drogba in Munich celebrating a Champions League win. Now, Carl, let me put this in perspective for you. The Champions League is, imagine if all the teams in Europe who have basketball teams were just as good as the NBA, and all the best teams all around the world got into one competition. Chelsea won that in Munich against Bayern Munich. In their home stadium, they beat Bayern Munich in the final of the biggest club tournament on the planet. Drogba scored the goal in extra time to send it to penalties, and then scored the game-winning penalty in extra time.
Okay.
So,
keep in mind he gave a penalty away.
keep in mind he did give up a penalty, but the penalty was missed. But
doesn't matter. He won.
It doesn't matter. He won the game.
He won again.
He won the game. But Michael Cox tweeted, "Strange player, best cup final player you'll ever see, two outstanding seasons, but also had quite a lot of bad campaigns where he contributed a little, and Chelsea tried to build without him. Without wanting to overdo it, Drogba was clearly brilliant for 2 Golden Boot seasons, and in other seasons scored as many as Emile Heskey, Henri Camara, Julian Lescott, Heskey again, Kevin Nolan, and James McLean. Won't include his comeback campaign. It's ... Okay. This seems harsh, so this is my favorite Drogba goal he scored, and he was like, Chelsea needed to press higher, play more intricate through balls, get Torres to thrive. Instead, play Drogba, boot it up to him, and he'll sort it out," which was Chelsea's strategy for some time under Mourinho. Defend well, boot it up to Drogba, he'll figure it out.
That's kind of what I did with FIFA 12. I ain't gonna hold you.
But regardless, the point Michael is bringing up is that he was a big game player.
Yeah.
So now the question I'm going to bring to you guys is, what else does someone need to do to be a legend, bar stepping up in the biggest moments? Because most times, the number one criteria for me as a legend is, do you deliver every time in big moments?
See, nah, I don't think
That's why.
I don't think that's the only criteria.
I said that's the first. I said it's the first thing. The first thing that comes to mind is they are always there when their team needs them in the biggest of stages. Because listen, there are plenty of players who play great. We kill what's his name, DeRozan, right, in the NBA. We kill DeRozan for being a great regular season player.
Damian Lillard.
We kill Dame Lillard for the same thing. So if let's say they were all right during most regular seasons, but in every single playoff and every single game 7, they came through and they won games for their teams.
What does Tom Brady do against the Falcons?
They would. You would say
that dude steps up.
You would say you would call them. You would undeniably in America call them a legend. There would be no doubt about it. You would call him a legend.
Hey, listen.
But see, no,
a legend of the game. So the argument I think he's trying to make is that he's a legend for his club. Like at Chelsea, he's a legend. But as in terms of the overall game of soccer, he's not a legend in it.
Nah.
All right, hold on. All right, cool. So Chelsea legend definitely.
Okay. Legend of the game.
Ivory Coast legend definitely, right? Now, legend of the game, I'll say so, but I guess if there's tiers to it, he's not in the top tier.
Okay, that's fair.
You feel me?
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I think it's kind of harsh, but the numbers the guy do bring up is like those are facts. You feel me?
Numbers don't lie.
Subpar campaigns, but as you said, when Drogba needed to be counted, he was there.
He played in
big games. He scored in them.
He played in 10 cup finals and scored 10 goals in 10 cup finals.
See, but then this is where I'm confused when you're like comparing him to like DeRozan and like Dame Lillard.
I'm saying if he wasn't the player, he's saying that he owned, like, for the majority of the time, or like he was just as bad as he was good during the majority of the time. But our memory, because he was so good in big moments, makes us think of him higher than what he actually was.
But then this is what I'm saying though. Damian Lillard and DeRozan still haven't shown up for any finals.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what separates Drogba. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I was lost.
Yeah, we're on the same page here.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying separates Drogba. Like, to me, I said, the first criteria of a legend is, are you able to consistently deliver? What do people always say, like, when you get to finals?
It doesn't need to be consistent.
Yeah,
you just gotta show up for at least something.
I think consistently, because okay, all right. First of all, for example, like Drogba played in 10 cup finals and won 9 of them. 10 cup finals over different competitions. So that's Champions League, FA Cup,
so then he's consistent.
Europa League, but he's consistently the one who is like he's scoring those goals in it. Not only being on the winning side of things, because some people get lucky. You could just end up like you happen to be on the
Steve Kerr.
You know what I'm saying? You could get lucky.
You know why I'm here.
Get slapped up.
You know I'm here. You get lucky, but he scores in every one of those games, so he's a deciding factor.
He's like Robert Horry.
Yo, perfect
like
example. Perfect example.
I would say more of a.
No, I think that's a perfect example.
But
Robert Horry made the big shots. Big shots.
Matter. He got 7 rings.
Bro, but he made the big shots. Like,
but the reason it's different is because Drogba created that. Like, Robert Horry was there for all the fun and games.
And also, Drogba was like
hold
like,
on.
especially like the
Like,
Champions
big
League.
Robert Horry won at least 3 championships
At least.
because of his shot. Like,
Okay,
I'm just saying. That's why I said that's a good
He
comparison.
also
I
helped
don't
him
think it's a good comparison, but I'm gonna let you keep. I'm gonna keep letting you hear your argument. I'm gonna keep hearing your argument out.
because he won them shits. He won 3 of them shits.
But they weren't getting to those finals because of Robert Horry. That's the difference here.
You're saying they were getting to the
They were
finals.
getting to the final because of Drogba, and then he
They're
was
getting
winning them
carried
the
by
final.
Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah. Okay. That's what you're saying.
Drogba and Lampard are carrying them.
Then
Yes.
I don't get them. What's the
hold
discussion?
on.
Why are they saying then that he isn't?
Because
At
he
that
was
top tier.
because there were a lot of like regular like during because you gotta remember in the English Premier League you don't have a playoffs. It's just your regular season. So over the course of your career, most players, especially if you don't play on like a team that plays in bigger competitions like Champions League, your team doesn't make it far in the cups. You're really only gonna be judged based on your regular season. In essence, you know what I mean. To break that down to a non-soccer fan, you're only judged on your regular season because in England in the English Premier League, the winner of your regular season is the winner of it all.
So he wasn't showing up at 500. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't even.
They were saying he was saying probably about 500% of his, or like 50-50. He's either having a good regular season or he's having just an average one, where he's being like I know we're talking bang average. Like it's not like it's a little bit above average or it's both for his standards. Because like with LeBron, when LeBron has a bad game or something like that, LeBron can still put up 25, 30, and we're like it was a bad night for Bron. You know what I mean? Because his standard is just that high. I think also for Drogba, the standard is just that high. But like his average seasons like are average. Like you're talking like middle of the pack. Yes, exactly, middle of the pack average.
Like the dude said, Drogba had 2 like great seasons.
Okay.
He had
Feel me?
he MVP honors.
Exactly.
MVP
for
honors.
2 seasons.
Okay.
And how
And
many
he played,
how
I
many
think,
seasons he played?
7 or 8.
6?
6, 7 or 8.
6?
Somewhere 6 to 8. Somewhere 6 to 8.
I don't think it's 8. I think it's 6 or 7. Right?
Look,
Still,
that
doesn't
check
seem.
first.
I think it's 6 or 7. But what I'm saying is like 2 great seasons in the regular season are like subpar. You feel me? But what is not being taken into account, like I'm arguing for Drogba, right? What's not being taken into account is like what else he brings to the game.
Exactly.
You feel me?
It's just
You know,
pure numbers.
LeBron can win the game with just passing the ball.
Yeah.
You know, Drogba takes a lot of pressure off him, and Lampard would get 20 goals because of Drogba.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Takes up a lot of attention.
But I was gonna say also it's just like, bro, in soccer it's different. You got 11 people. You can be the best player out there. If the other 8 people are trash, they ain't nothing I can do, coach. If you're looking at the coach like, bro, you want to come out here and play?
I think the thing is though, especially with forwards, is that you get judged differently because you're the one who's like charged with. Can you score? Can you make the difference in a game?
He played 9 years with Chelsea.
9 years. Okay, so he had 9.
That's
years?
almost half his career.
Yeah. So
9 years. How many seasons?
9 seasons.
9 seasons.
9 Premier League
I'm
seasons.
counting
Yeah.
years a season.
Okay.
9 Premier League seasons. 2 of them he wins Golden Boots, so top scorer in the league.
See, but once again,
Starting from the 04-05 season
Is that
to
bad?
2014-15 season.
Because I think that's overachieving. No,
All right. For example, hold on.
is
I'm-
Ronaldo in that?
Yeah, like Ronaldo
He was in there.
But he
Ronaldo
only,
was in the league for a couple of those years.
yeah,
Like, how many did he win?
but Ronaldo
won like
what trophies?
No, the
No,
same.
Golden
the
Boot.
Real Madrid, what, 09?
The Golden Boot.
Yeah.
He only won it once.
That's what I'm saying.
But
they're different
Ronaldo
positions.
scored like 40 goals that season.
Drogba had a season where he hit high.
The most he scored
High
for Chelsea was
scores.
29.
Yeah, I was thinking 29. So Ronaldo had one where he scored 30.
30 something.
He scored 31 because he didn't break the record. I think
No,
he
he
tied it. He scored 31. Ronaldo's highest ever season in the Premier League was 31. Drogba's highest was 29.
But that's what I'm saying though. Isn't Ronaldo like maybe on that Mount Rushmore? of soccer
Absolutely.
players?
Yeah.
Of soccer
Absolutely.
players? No, he definitely is.
But then you see what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying I don't get how he's underachieving then. Drogba.
I think his thing is that we
Yeah.
are
It's
because
soccer
of what
players,
it's also
y'all are looking at that
we're looking at
regular season and the consistency.
Yeah,
and
like-
also he didn't have the
It's kinda-
consistency.
it's
That's
kinda
the
like-
argument there.
It's kind of like, is he that Hall of Fame player that you're like, oh, he's first ballot, no doubt? Or is he like, you're scratching your head, like, how did that guy make it in the Hall of Fame first ballot? Or maybe he made it like the second or third time on the ballot.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
So then my question is, are you putting him in there in that Hall of Fame? Are you voting him on that first ballot Hall of Fame?
Like for strikers, no, maybe because this is the thing, right? In the Premier League, they had a bunch of good strikers, very good ones, and you have Alan Shearer that got like a ridiculous amount of goals, like 260 or something. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But he only played in that league his whole life and had been playing since the beginning of the league, and he retired quite old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Drogba had
A 9-year
seasons.
span.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Scored 152 goals, right?
Right.
In the Premier League. Aguero still playing. What season is he in?
He's in like 9 or 10. He's close.
He got one.
He's past 150. He just passed 150.
150 something.
In the league, yeah, he just
It
passed.
says here that Drogba has 104 goals in the Premier League.
It's only 104. Maybe I got the numbers mixed up.
And 54 assists.
Right? Got the numbers mixed up.
But that's still pretty
Henry,
good.
right? You know I'm an Arsenal guy. Henry got like 170 something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Henry, Alan Shearer, Aguero,
175.
75.
175.
You know what I'm saying? If I was supposed to I'll put Alan Shearer and Henry above and Aguero above Drogba, just from sheer
Right.
you know.
I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm biased, but I'm gonna let you finish.
No. Like I'll put him up, but Drogba.
So
if I was supposed to put him,
ballot.
first ballot. I'll put him. He might
He'll
be on
eventually
the.
get in there.
No, he's gonna make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
but he's not gonna be
the first
ones
ballot
for me
he
to.
cast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why I think he is. First of all, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm gonna go ahead and disclaimer that for all those who want to say, "Oh, obviously you feel that way," this is why they're gonna say that because I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm not gonna hide that, but I'll say why I think Drogba is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Henry, for as great as he was, and I'm honestly not trying to roast you. When it came to you guys, especially in Europe and in major cup competitions, was he willing you guys? I know, what was it, the 06 final that you guys got to final? Granted, you guys got a red card.
Mm-hmm.
But was he the deciding factor in that game? Was he the deciding factor in your run to the final?
Run to the final? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, he actually
And
was.
then in the final.
In the final,
I know he was.
Jens Lehmann was, but alright, for example, Arsenal is the first English team to go to Bernabeu and beat Real Madrid. And I don't know if you ever seen that game.
I have seen it.
Henry picks the ball up at half line, shrugs off El Phenomenon, Guti, bitch ass Sergio Ramos, tuck it, bottom left.
Arsenal
Golazo.
He was golden, didn't
No, you're asking me if he dragged the team. He
He
did
did.
that. He
Okay,
did that.
but here's why I'm saying Drogba
Yeah.
is, right? Drogba willed a Chelsea team. Chelsea finished in 8th that year, I'm 100% sure. They were the 8th best team in their country.
6, no?
No,
was
they finished in 8th.
I think it might have been 6.
It's 6.
Dill, look this up.
Yeah.
Definitely 6.
Nah, because that would have
When you guys won the Champions League?
2012.
When you
Yeah.
won the Champions League? Definitely
Chelsea
6th place.
Premier League.
But he took the team, and then look at their if you can find their domestic standing. But we'll see. Dill's checking this. But six. Okay, so they finished in 6th.
11-12.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
2011-12.
Yeah, because I remember that.
That's the year we
Yeah.
won.
Okay.
Because I remember that's when they were
12,
thinking about
13 is when
giving
Hazard came,
one
yeah.
country
Winners of the
5.
Champions
That's where
League,
we wrote from,
quarterfinals of the League Cup,
Yeah.
6th place.
He led this team. Like, they went to Barcelona and beat Barcelona, a man down. Barcelona with Lionel Messi. Mind you, arguably the greatest Barcelona team of all time. I know y'all lost to a damn good Barcelona team in the final. I'm not just chatting. This is
I
facts.
mean, that
Arguably one of
Barcelona
the
This is
team
facts.
whooped
Arguably
ass.
one of the best
Barcelona
teams
ever.
ever. That same team went to the World Cup and won it, damn near. Because that was the backbone of that Spain team. You sitting over here like,
Oh, just look at me real quick. I don't know none of this shit. I ain't gonna hold you.
but regardless,
I'm
like
back.
Drogba then took the team to the final. That final
No, what I'm saying.
was 100% hook the ball to Drogba. Hope he does something. He did it consistently. He then scored the goal after he went down in extra time. He scored the equalizer. He scored the game-winning penalty
I understand that.
in Munich.
Bro,
Munich.
Bro, I understand.
So then how is he not a first ballot? What's the argument?
Because
of
the
numbers.
people above him, literally. All right,
I'm talking about though his greatest years where
Yeah.
he was going 1-on-4, ISO, nigga. Everybody scoot to the other side of the field, bucket.
Yeah,
2K, no, FIFA 11, FIFA 12, FIFA 13, bucket.
yeah.
So here's
Cote d'Ivoire, fast break, bucket. Why is he not in the Hall of
and
Fame?
here's hold on.
And
He's
first
saying he's not a first ballot, but here's why. You and I got on this argument before about Shearer and Rooney, or not Shearer, Rooney, Henry and Rooney, because I said over the course of Rooney's career, the numbers say that he was a better striker than Henry in the Premier League alone. In the Premier League, That was my argument.
Yeah,
And we went, and you said numbers alone don't tell the story of Henri. So numbers alone are why I'm going to say that they don't tell the story fully of Drogba.
It doesn't, and I told
And
you
you
that.
agreed that.
No,
You
I
agreed
told you that
You did.
because certain things aren't captured that he did when he was having subpar seasons when he was setting up.
MJ had subpar seasons.
Yeah, but
People
subpar for
forget that.
MJ is a different subpar for regular player.
But it's subpar for Kevin Nolan. I can't defend it. Kevin Nolan was hot garbage. I ain't calling it hot garbage. You played in the Premier League. Respect to you, my G. But
He was trash.
No,
He was trash in the Premier
to
League.
somebody like Drogba, you know what I mean? You would never be like, oh, you know who I can't wait to go watch? Kevin Nolan. There's very few soccer fans outside of the city of Bolton who probably ever said that statement in their life.
I don't know.
It's me.
Bro.
But it's just an interesting argument as to why we think what makes a legend.
He's definitely a legend.
A legend
But
of
if
the
you
game
was
versus a
to
legend of a
put
team.
a route, the Mount Rushmore of the Premier League, or
He's
like
not making it,
stop strikers on the Premier League, I don't think. How many people's on Mount Rushmore? Four.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's pretty hard to be a Mount Rushmore
No,
player.
what I'm saying is, I don't think he's in the top four.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
That's what I'm saying. It's like there's different tiers to the striker. I'm not saying Drogba's a bad player.
But
He's very good.
What I'm saying though is,
But the ones above him are better.
I don't know that many, bro. Me playing FIFA,
No, I
11,
understand.
12, and 13.
You also can't stem just towards statistical reasons. You have to also consider off-field character. You have to consider who.
Well,
No, that does character doesn't matter.
Off the field issues.
Off the field doesn't
because
matter.
think about it. We
I think
consider.
it does.
No, it don't. Then you're judging me on my playing skill as how I behave off the field.
No, yeah, because what.
So, what's your thoughts on Maradona? That's soccer.
He's not the best leader there ever was.
That's not.
I mean, he led his country to a World Cup.
I'm just saying. You see
Title.
that?
I heard he got away with a handball. Bucket.
Hand of God.
You're not wrong about that.
Bucket.
But
Shout out to English people.
yeah, I don't know. It just is an interesting argument. Please weigh in on and let us know what you define as a legend of a team versus a legend of the game overall, because there's a lot of different criteria here, and I'd love to hear a lot of people's feedback on. It doesn't even have to be a soccer argument. Just make an argument as to somebody you think is a legend of the game in general, and then somebody who you think is a legend of only a team. All right, they put in work on one squad.
Bro, Nicholas Bentner, Arsenal legend. He ain't do nothing else.
He's trolling.
Lord
He
Bentner.
is trolling. Trust me, he's trolling. That's like Scalabrini, bro. Trust me.
Bro, you score against Tottenham, bro, you're an Arsenal legend. That's just how it goes. Y'all don't got no teams like that.
You compare him to Scalabrini, bro.
Throw that legend term around, but
Man, we all know that the GOAT though in basketball, LeBron James, coming up soon.
But yeah,
Right
guys,
now, I still
let
got
us
MJ,
know.
but it's soon gonna be LeBron James.
Let us know.
After
We'll
we
see.
beat the Warriors, Lakers 4-0.
we'll see. But keep rocking with us. Welcome back. Little quick mini break we took, but we appreciate you rocking with us into the second seg. Now, I don't know if you guys saw recently, but social media had a fit with Kanye West and his recent dance moves on stage. It was a little I don't know. It's, in certain churches, say certain black churches, when people be getting hit by the Holy Ghost,
Holy Spirit.
they be like, oh, they start doing that shit. Kanye.
Speaking in tongues and crap.
Yeah, Kanye's moves was a little on those lines. We have Kanye West #1 fan in the building today. So, as resident Kanye defender, how do you feel about Kanye's dance moves? As somebody who can dance well yourself.
I mean, not everybody got the moves, baby. That's all I gotta say about that. No, but listen.
Dancing,
No, but listen. What I'm saying is this, right? Did you see the full performance?
No,
I
I ain't got time.
See?
I ain't got time.
I had pain I had to watch drive. My fault.
I'm watching it right now.
It was pretty good. Kid
Was
Cudi performed better. They did the Kids See Ghosts, and Kid Cudi performed Pursuit of Happiness, and he performed.
Garfield, what happened to his head? Is he bleeding during the performance, or is that his hair?
I think
that's
he
his
just
haircut.
colored.
Also, wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Hold that thought.
Mm.
I just want to know everyone's first Kid Cudi lyric that comes to mind.
Crush a bit, little bit. Oh, sorry.
I'm in the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, I think that's mine.
And no.
I think it's the prayer. for me.
Really? See,
I ain't
for
gonna
me,
hold
it's-
you. After that new album, I don't really.
Hey, that's funny as hell, boy.
But
Yeah, dance
anyway,
moves.
continue. Yeah.
I got a theory.
I got dance moves.
I got the moves. No, I had a theory.
Yeah.
I think that was the demons trying to get out, B.
Oh my god.
It must have been. What kind of dance moves are those, B?
I ain't gonna hold you though, but that was.
I don't know what they doing in good music these days, but you got the inside scoop. So if there's one person I know who knows,
No.
it's gonna
all
be you.
All fun and joke aside.
That's why they put him in a glass box.
That's
Kanye.
Kanye
The way the
performance.
concert goes is everybody's below. Like you're on the floor, and then he's.
Oh, it's like the old. Is it
Yeah,
like the old Travis Scott type thing where they?
No.
It's Kanye and his God complex.
It's
putting everybody on the floor and being in a box
No,
above everybody.
facts. All peasants on the
Yeah,
bottom.
pretty much. Like
it's different. It was just like I don't know. Production was good. It looked good.
You know what we ought to do? We ought to make a cut. Take Kanye's dance, put it next to my salsa that I did training wise for 4 months. See who's better.
I had to throw that up on.
Wait, why?
We're gonna put that on Instagram.
I don't know why people are hating on it. It's just a dance. Like,
Yo, listen. But my thing is this, right?
because like he's just feeling the music.
While I was
Bro,
watching,
I'm sorry if you get up and you start doing some shit like this.
yo, no,
Bro, I'm
this-
gonna roast you.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
care
no,
who you
I'm
no,
not-
are.
hold on. This is what I'm saying, right?
Bro, hit the-
to see him dance.
No,
I'm
no,
trying to
back
be
to-
like Breezy.
Like,
Like,
bro,
bro,
what?
what? Tribes,
What
though.
is
That's how
that?
they be dancing to the African tribes. So what we
I'm not trying to see Kanye no damn African tribe. What tribe does he
Yo.
belong to?
Yo,
This
I don't
is-
know.
Ashanti tribe, nigga. Nah.
Kanye out here.
No, but listen. At one point, I seen he was doing this dance move, right? I'm like, what the fuck is this nigga doing? But then, he, like every
Anytime
time the beat,
somebody
no,
says
listen,
that about your dance moves, quit.
listen,
Just quit.
But then, I think it was on beat. I was like, oh shit. But he was in such a weird position. I'm like, yo, what is this? But he was hitting the beat like he was trying to do some pop lock or something. He was like, pop. I was like, oh. You feel me? That's the only part of the dance. I was like, oh, I get it, but I just don't like the way
Listen,
it look. You
in
know?
a couple of years, Jeffy gonna be telling us, "Hey, look back on that Kanye performance. It was ahead of his time. Now everybody doing this."
Nah,
Yo,
nah,
right?
nah,
But
nah,
everybody keeps saying that
nah.
about Kanye because they're always like, "Oh, he's ahead of his time."
Hey, that's number
Yeah,
one
just-
right here.
Just like the kids nowadays, right? They're drinking Tide Pods and shit.
yo, you seen Chris Brown yesterday when he did that one move? When Chris Brown did that one move, Kanye taught him that.
Kanye talk-
Yo,
Yo,
listen.
you saw Chris Brown put up.
I
Chris
heard it
Brown
was
was like,
Trump.
listen, but honestly though, all honesty, the performance was decent, but that's the first time he performed since his mental breakdown about his wife being kidnapped, right? So like he like edited himself while he was performing, ran out of breath, but like that's expected since.
I mean, you got lipo, so
That's the first time.
I'm not even trying to
How?
say.
That's the first time
Sway.
performing like 2 years.
That is crazy.
So like like.
And it's crazy because last time he was on a little thing that was above everybody too.
Yeah, it's the same. It was
That's
the same
what I'm
platform.
saying.
But it
That's,
wasn't a
that's
box.
standard
yeah.
for people like Red Hot Chili Peppers. They set that in their contracts to make
Yeah.
sure that they are mentally sane and aware of what's going on in their world, socially, mentally, physically, before setting out on tour. Period. They don't tour for like a
But that's-
minimum of 2 years apart from their last one.
That's the same thing like the big K-pop shit, bro. Like the people that do
First of
K-pop.
all, that stuff's a religion. Over
Well,
there.
no, that's what I'm saying. Those people that do K-pop, they sign off on like these like contracts.
Yeah.
They don't even know what they're getting themselves into. They're
I
like
mean-
they gotta like perform like 8 hours, 9 hours a day, go into all these tours.
That's
They're
crazy.
asking-
Keep it
and
loyal.
they have no way out of it.
Yeah, seriously, 60 Minutes did a thing on K-pop or some major news channel. It is insane, the preparation. It's like, take a reality TV show, make it real life, and then put the insanity of training that you would expect from a typical Asian culture, and then put that into a media setting and music setting.
That is
It's
crazy.
it's out of bounds.
You know, speaking of touring and whatnot, that reminds me. I was just talking the other day about Jay-Z and Beyonce's tour. They just wrapped that up, the On the Run 2 tour.
Yeah.
Stadiums,
Yeah.
32 cities,
Yeah.
or 33 cities,
Yeah.
2 months
Back
in-
secured.
in only stadiums. Think about that. Like you said, bag is well and secured. Just think about how much money that is.
I'm not
In a
so
stadium.
Minimum
In a
3,000 people
Bro.
in
I've heard
each of those.
tickets-
probably.
Like nosebleed tickets were like 120s
Yeah, I'ma stay home. Nosebleeds for 120. I'm staying home.
in a stadium. Think about
I
how
watch
much
you
money
bleed
it
for
is.
free at home, bruh.
What you mean?
If-
I can watch
if
that.
it's too
I can
hot.
watch the whole show on YouTube.
Facts.
Somebody get that camera out.
Yeah,
there.
bro.
No, but you
Right.
got experience. You got it. But think about it, like especially like performers like on that level of like
I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna be there. I'm telling you that now.
Well,
But
I'm
it's
not-
more of like
but
it's more like a legendary
Are,
performer. You know what I
are
mean?
you
Like, it's-
surprised though? Are you
No,
surprised?
No,
by
they
these
deserve
numbers?
that. They deserve that. But I'm just saying, like, just really think about that number. Like, break that down. If you put, let's say, 20,000 people in a stadium, and each one at bare minimum probably spent like 90, almost.
Yeah.
Let's say 100. Let's say
Yeah.
bare minimum.
Not even
100.
mention the beers in that motherfucker. This shit by 20.
And you gonna take a cut off of that.
I don't think.
That's why when Jay-Z
Did they
said,
get a cut off that?
No.
I don't know,
I don't
maybe
think
they
so.
don't. I don't know.
I don't think-
Somebody
I
that
think
big
gas
though. Somebody
station.
that big though.
No,
Like,
you
they might-
pay them for their.
You pay them to show
performance.
up first of all, and then they get tickets.
Commission.
Yeah. Which is what's wild to me. It's like really think about how much money that is. Like
At the same time though, like I was looking, I forgot when they were
But the
touring,
stadium
but it was
makes
the
a lot of
Drake,
money.
it was the
The
Drake
stadium
and
doesn't make a lot
Future tour. It was the.
they made
But
bands
then
off
you
that
compare it
too.
to like a band, bro. They be making bands.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it's
you-
money in touring. That's where the money in music is
Yeah.
touring.
Unless
But
you sign and publish in a way and shit.
But I don't think I don't think Drake and I don't know. Look this up. Look at like the biggest tour this year for
it's
like
definitely
money
On the Run
wise.
tour. On the Run 2's got to be the biggest one.
It's not.
I'm
You
talking
talking about hip hop or just music?
I'm just
in
saying
general?
music in
I'll
general.
say music in general because
And
first of all,
I'm saying we can put money
Beyonce.
down on that because I know for sure it's not. It's just never, bro. It's
Oh,
never.
wait, hold on. Where we been?
We
Yeah,
gonna
what
figure
we
it
got?
out. We don't gotta. I mean,
I ain't gonna hold you. What you got?
What you got? What you got in your pocket? Anyway, hold up. While Dylan looks this shit up.
You know what my guess is?
What?
It's gonna be one of the people on this list, the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones are story.
Rolling
Hell yeah, they
Stones
go.
make-
I forgot they were touring this.
Number
You
one
got
is
what?
Drake's.
And by the way,
Uh-huh.
they only did it in Europe. Never mind the fact that they're already thinking about doing it, and they're almost all in their 80s.
Like they're not gonna.
In the
You're
United
not gonna
States.
beat that.
Number
Yeah, but-
one, U2.
Yeah.
Number two, Rolling Stones.
I mean, they
Number three,
making
Coldplay.
money.
Number four,
That's
Rolling
crazy.
Stones.
They
Number
work.
5, Roger Waters. Number 6, AC/DC. Number 7,
Look at
Madonna.
this nigga.
Number
Like I told you,
8,
they're not making that much.
Yo, collect that brag.
I didn't knew that, right?
Yeah, but you gotta like this
the
is
You gotta
top
put it in
10. The top
perspective.
10 are all rock or country.
Yeah.
One's pop, Madonna.
Like, bro, do you not remember when
How old
what
is
you
he?
call it? Was it Taylor
That does
Swift
make sense,
or one
yeah.
of
Taylor Swift makes stupid
She
money
was
on her.
making $1 million a day.
I just said U2 made it 3 times in top 15.
That's crazy.
No wonder Bono's saving the world.
Right? He got enough money. Like,
Superman.
right? But hold on, I want to go back because before you touch on a point that I want to talk about, you said that was the first time Kanye performed in 2 years since the PTSD episode of his wife getting kidnapped.
Yeah.
In the last break, we were having a discussion about a soccer player who was going through fits of depression, and we were talking about if that's curable, if like so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So that's a very deep subject to touch on.
Yeah.
You say Kanye was dancing out his demons?
Yeah, like
How much of Kanye's? No, I know you're joking
Yeah,
with that, but what I want to say is more so how much of Kanye's recent behavior in terms of like us getting mad at Kanye just doing all sorts of I don't even know what to call it, just besides fuckery at this point.
See, but at this
Like
point,
how much of that do we
even-
chalk up to like PTSD, not knowing how to handle that stuff?
Alright. So I said this before, I'm gonna say it again. We don't agree with Kanye West now, but like Kanye West saying George Bush don't care about black people is outrageous too, right? He just have a different perspective now, right? But I do think he's affected by it. You know what I'm saying? I heard it when he did 808 and Heartbreaks, and you hear it, you keep hearing it, but it's just like, how do you deal with that? You give people their time to deal with different things. Feel me? Me personally, how I dealt with my mom passing, I was a young kid. Feel me? It didn't affect me as much. Feel me? I was 10, 25 now. That's a while ago. But the older I got, the more it affected me. You feel me?
Because the more knowledge you're on.
Because I'm like, oh shit, like,
You understand the situation? You
she
see the bigger picture.
knew she was passing away. But like me, I'm focused on like stupid shit. Stupid shit as a kid. You need to not worry about
Being
the
a
bigger-
kid.
You know what I'm saying? The bigger picture. But as far as he goes, I don't know how to tell him to deal with that. He's gonna deal with that how he wants to deal with that. Now, I think a lot of stuff get lost into this I'm crazy type of thing, or like whatever, because of how outrageous some of the things he says is. But if that's his opinion, that's what it is. You feel me? But people try to draw parallels with like, oh, you support Trump, it's because your mom's dead. You're losing your mind. That shit don't make no sense to me. That's just my opinion. You feel me?
Yeah.
But then again, like, it could. I don't know. Wish I had his phone number. I call a nigga like, yo.
Stop
Let me get
playing.
some
Jebby on the phone
Yeezys,
with
B.
everybody at Good Music. Trust me, Jebby be
Listen.
inside plug at Good Music. You need a new Kanye Connect? Right here.
Allegedly.
All right.
Allegedly. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. What do you guys think?
think that just with depression in general, I feel like it's gonna take. Each person in life is different, so
Facts.
to solve something, you gotta know what that person's going through. You gotta understand like what they're thinking about, and at the end of the day, that shit still may not be fixed. Cause once again, you don't know what they're going through. You can only put your 2 cents in of what you've seen through life, and what they've seen through life could be completely different. But going into Kanye's, I feel like Kanye still at this point, even though I feel like he is going through stuff, I feel like also you can't take Kanye too serious because at the same time he's still getting paid. Like bro, like a lot of people be like, oh Kanye he claimed he lost all this money. No. Kanye still has a fucking mansion. Kanye's still riding around here in like fucking 22-inch chrome, like you know what I'm saying? Like
making
Kanye's he's still making
Yeah.
bread. And then I don't know. So I can't really take Kanye too serious, but at the same time, I do wish for the best for his mental state. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up. You know what I mean? Like people like I'm a big Kanye West fan. I'm not gonna be like, bro, Kanye's don't run my life. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Oh, you said you support Trump, so I'm supposed to support Trump. One thing Kanye West did do for me though. I remember the first time I saw the MAGA hat when I was at work. Came in. I was fucking pissed. Don't know why. I was mad. Second time I saw it, I didn't care. He took the power away from the hat.
Desensitized.
I didn't even notice.
I don't know how that works, but
You want to know how it works?
I'm
because
let you explain.
he's like when you let people who are racist, right? That's in that meeting with Trump, he said something along the lines. I'm paraphrasing. When you let something racist, someone who's racist, affect you with something that has nothing to do with you, you lose all the power. I forgot the exact line.
So going back to what he said on the radio though, because then he talked about like in the topic of what you're talking about, like how people are like it's a psychological thing, it's a mental thing where they're mentally trapping you. He talks about like all the people that were slaves, they could have easily got up, walked off the plantation, and fought back. Like he was like, oh, they're not really slaves. You know what I'm saying?
Let me before you get on that. Hold on, finish up.
Because that's what you're talking about is a mental thing. It's like for him to wear that MAGA hat was just like mental for you to be like, oh, it doesn't mean anything because you know Kanye for yourself. You know who he is, right? So it's not gonna change your perspective if he wears a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
But like for someone that's like Trump, it's different. If he wears it, it's like, oh fuck, like he's supporting this. Whereas Kanye's just wearing it because I know Kanye. I've been following this dude for the longest time. So like. Either you pick the side where it's like I'm always gonna support Kanye, or you're gonna be fuck that, I'm not listening to Kanye, this and that. Like,
true.
That's a good point.
Only point I'm gonna break down is because I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because
that's a good point.
a lot of or I think we had this discussion kind of similar to this a couple weeks ago, but when we were arguing about Kanye when he first said the mental slavery thing, and we were talking about you could have slaves could have just got up and walked off the plantation.
yeah.
At one point in time, very early in American history, slaves actually outnumbered slave owners. So yes, at that point, early in American history, before there was before there was a system established to keep slaves from doing that.
Yeah.
That didn't last very long because guess what? After Nat Turner, the first rebellion, slave owners did one thing. They figured out, hold up, listen, if they all figure it out, we're all cooked. But guess what? That didn't happen. Why? Because there was a system put in place to keep slaves as slaves. It's one thing to say to somebody, yeah, you could have gotten up and walked off a plantation. It's another thing to tell somebody that when they've seen their cousin hanging from a tree for the last week.
That's what I'm saying.
I also think
a lot of people said bro, why didn't they just get up and do? Motherfucker, you weren't there, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only point. Because
if you were there and you did it,
so it's a whole nother point. People always say that slaves were ripped apart. They would tie 2 arms, 2 legs to 4 horses and run them in different directions. They would have the dog sit there and literally open slaves' legs and bite their junk off. Yeah. That's dehumanization. That takes away anyone's will to fight and change things like that. You're not gonna fight back. Think about it. If you go out with your, this is completely unrelated, but this is just to try and maybe paint a picture here. If you go out with your boys and your boy get beat the fuck up by a bouncer, guess what your ass ain't doing the next time you go to the club? Fucking with said bouncer.
So wait, just to bring up,
So-
to bring up another,
Nah, unless we
to bring up another
no.
point though, like
Yeah.
take it out of a perspective. Let's put it in like the 21st century perspective of right now.
Yeah.
Say in a situation like it doesn't matter white, black, whatever your race is. Let's just put it in a situation where it's like you're a normal working person, like in the community now. You're working for a corporate job, you know, because some people can argue like, yo, working for a corporate job 9 to 5 is like slavery, like in certain ways.
People do argue.
And people can argue that, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your head, right? You're sitting at the computer because I have a job that I do corporate work. I'm sitting at the computer, bro. Dude, I can get up and I can just leave, quit my job, and I can just go and do whatever the hell I want to do.
And why
right?
don't you?
Because I have to make money. I have to
There's
eat.
personal
It's personal incentive. It's when all I know, like I'm not gonna get up. What am I gonna do? Get up and leave and then not take checks anymore and like just bum around? It's like in my head, I'm like, bro, I gotta work because I have to feed. It's survival, bro.
And there are people
It's
out there who
survival.
will say, well, you can make money as an entrepreneur. There's ways to make other money. But
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
But then you also, as you say, you have incentives to not do it. It's a guaranteed check. It is stability. It is safety. The same way that in the same way, like the reason people do use that parallel is for the reason of, you know, that not rebelling, not doing all those things is safety for you and the ones you care about.
Yeah.
As long as you do the work, yes, it might suck, but guess what? You're not hanging from a tree. Guess what? You're not getting whipped. Those are the things that keep people in terms of, slavery was a choice. The old Harriet Tubman quote that I was going to say, I could have freed 1,000 more or 1,000,000 more slaves, whatever the number is, if they only knew that they were slaves. That's not true. People knew exactly what the hell was going on. They just understood the gravity and the severity of the situation.
All right, you said people know exactly what's going on. I tend to differ. So like, if you were born into something and that's all you know, you might not see nothing wrong with it. You feel me?
Or not see anything wrong. You might not think there's an alternative to it.
Listen, Bob Marley said it a long time as well, and I think this is what Kanye was trying to say. You need to emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Because if you keep thinking like, yo, I'm a slave.
The person that wrote about it even longer ago was Plato.
But the reason I think
the allegory of the cave is exactly what you're saying.
Allegory.
Yeah, exactly. So if you keep telling yourself like, yo, in the allegory of the cave, he keeps seeing a shadow, right? And he's
It was
like,
in puppets. Yeah, it's basically a shadow.
like, bro, like get up and go. It's like no one's there. You feel me? But it's not as easy. Now there's plenty of example in history of slaves rebelling and doing stuff. You look at Haiti. You look at Jamaica. These people rebelled. They was like, I had enough. You feel me?
Haiti was the first free nation of African slaves. And to this day, the world does not give a damn about Haiti. Haiti's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere.
But they still get like relief. You make it seem like
go to Haiti.
The reason
Go,
why
like,
I'm
I'm
not
talking,
I'm not saying I'm going there, bro.
Yeah.
I'm saying though, like they still get like.
Do you think the
Haiti's
reason
the
why
poorest country on
Kanye's
half
the
of
way
the
he
world
is
bro.
because of his knowledge that he has?
But
What? I'm sorry?
I said, do you
think
think the way that Kanye is the way he is, like, in the way he reacts to people, is because of knowledge that he has?
Yeah, I think.
No, I think it's a lack of knowledge.
No,
but
listen,
we don't know
I think
that, though.
listen,
we don't know, but we don't know his knowledge.
This is my thing. This is my thing with him, right? I think
Facts.
that's also a factor. I think he's removed from like present reality, but his knowledge. I think he's a very knowledgeable person.
I
like,
think so too.
Like him saying that slavery was a choice.
Is it what he meant to say?
I know that's not what he meant to say.
I
Mentally,
don't know, because I don't know. But.
well, I like to think I know that's what he meant to say. You feel me? It's the mental part. You feel me?
It's like
but again, even with Bob Marley saying emancipate yourself from mental slavery, in my opinion, it's not so much about being like, oh, a woe is me type attitude, which is what I think Kanye meant it as. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, being like, oh well, I'm black, they ain't gonna pick me for this job. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I have heard people like that. Cause listen, first of all, once upon a time, like throwback, when I was in college, one job I had when I was in summer, I like just trying to make some money. I was canvassing for voters, right? I was working for a non-profit organization, and I would sign people up to go vote, but their primary focus was on sending me to areas like they were like, all right, are you scared to go into areas that like we wouldn't necessarily send other people into? When they told me that, I'm like, okay, y'all send me to the hood. Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
And guess where I went?
to the
to the hood.
Yeah.
So literally just walk around. I would literally walk around the projects, knock on people's doors. Excuse me, ma'am, miss, or sir, are you registered to vote? Man, I ain't voting. Like, why? One of the number one reasons I heard was, well, listen, we in the hood. It don't matter what we do. We gonna stay in the hood. That's what it is. So when I hear quotes like Bob saying, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, that's what I think of. Being like, well, I'm trapped in this shitty situation and it's never gonna change. Because I was born into it. Like you said, if you born into something, you don't know that you could get out of it. But I would always tell them, I'm like, listen, I understand that the odds are stacked against you, and you may never get out of it. Right. But me personally, granted, I can say that because I was never forcibly put into that situation. So this is me saying it, but just who I am as a person, I always think of myself, I don't care where I'm at in life, I'm never gonna give up hope that I can get myself through whatever situation is presented to me. And that's just me. But again, I've been blessed. Like I'm not gonna sit here and act like shit, I came up and had to sell crack at 13 to get here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not my life story. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like
and who instilled that into you?
My parents.
Yeah.
But I was blessed. Not everyone has that situation.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Some people's parents weren't ready to be parents by the time they had to become parents. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the reality of the situation. So some people are naturally at a disadvantage. And not to mention, in the game of life, there is always gonna be winners and there's always gonna be losers. Yeah. That's just what it is.
That's a fact.
That's
but it's not
circle of life.
The crazy reverse of it all is there's even at the highest academic standards the country has to offer. I mean, you look at medical schools, you look at law schools, you look at the extremes in terms of academics. There's schools that specifically will not allow you if you're not from the state. But it stems further from that. There's schools that won't allow you. For example, South Dakota has a med school. You cannot go unless you're a Native American, and that's it. There's nothing short of that. Well, and then it also goes further to that is, there's one in Arizona. If you're not a Native American from that region, you don't get first come first serve. And obviously it goes down the totem pole there in terms of who gets the chance in terms of said person X is a Native American I don't know generation whatever, and they applied but they didn't get in, and then if it falls into the person's next hands, then maybe they're in line.
This is my thing. That's a whole deeper argument as well, because this country is built on the backs of people who aren't in power of it. You feel me? Like Native Americans and black people been dehumanized, slaughtered, killed, whatever the word you want to use.
People,
Hispanic
people,
right?
And Irish people.
All everybody, right?
Everybody.
But what I'm saying is the majority of it, the railways were a whole bunch of Asians, yeah. You feel me? The cotton fields, tobacco, all that. Slaves are making, African slaves are making a whole bunch of that. Native Americans got run off their land and killed. The only people to get reparations from that are the Native Americans. I'm not saying, so I understand they trying to make up ways to help them get back to a certain standard, but you done did your damage, you feel me? And that's why they put these things in place. You feel me? But what are you to do now? They're still the ones in power, so you checks and balances or not, but they got both of them in their hands.
Yeah.
So they balance their checks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
In terms of acceptance to a specific academic school or an institution, isn't necessarily based on a historical event from 50, 100, 150, 200 years ago. It's a different, because the reason that my first thing was it's reversed from exactly what AB is saying. You either come from a situation, you try and you relieve yourself of understanding these certain emotional standards from entrapment, but it's different. There's other institutions that are putting the blinders on you because okay, we have X amount of med schools in the country, and we're only going to let these 3 accept specific natives because that's what we stand for, and that's our specific upbringing. But then in terms of evening out the demographics, in terms of what kind of ethnicity is accepted to a medical school or a law school or even just a basic institution, whether it's undergrad or graduate level, all of which it's a really delicate line and a silver lining in terms of who's actually getting in and who's not. a good friend of mine has a 4.0 at one of the more top tier med schools now, but he wasn't accepted into their program and was told to go elsewhere. He's in the 99th percentile.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know the background of said school, but I will use an example of an HBCU for example. Like historically black colleges and universities, like let's say a Howard. At one point in time, those were the only schools that people like that could go to.
Definitely.
That people of African American or Afro Caribbean backgrounds could go to. So I don't know the background of that school, so I can't speak on if it was founded at a point in time when it was like, okay, this is the only medical school that we're gonna get accepted to, so let's keep it that way. You know what I'm saying?
like
I don't know that.
No, but that's the history, bro. Like you weren't able to learn how to read or be a literate person. You're being stopped from doing all of that.
That's fair.
And now you're not a slave anymore. You're emancipated. You get these certain rights, but yet still you can't go to school with them. Further on, they're like, okay, desegregation. Now everybody go to school. But you're so far behind already because you couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But
wealth is generational, as we have talked about. Wealth is
like,
generational. So
it's entrapment
you've got
on
4
so many
generations
levels.
head starts. Yeah.
Entrapment on so many levels. So, like, we're all at a disadvantage. But, like...
Facts.
How you gonna get out?
Speaking of entrapment, because we've been on a very serious discussion for a little bit, and this is banter with the brothers. So, as much as we like to educate you and keep you on some serious stuff, sometimes we do like to joke around. So, to transfer it from entrapment to somebody who is currently incarcerated.
Oh shit! Oh yeah. I forgot.
We'll try and shift the topic over now to 6ix9ine himself.
6ix9ine.
Currently fighting a federal case.
Who?
Oh come on. Man.
Don't play.
6ix9ine.
The feds watch it. I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
The feds watching. I don't know nothing. Listen,
Y'all know set? Y'all know set?
That's like the meme where it was just basically it was like when he was like, oh yo, my boys are killers and I'm a killer too. The feds like sitting in the back like,
oh bet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
That's how it
That's
goes.
how they get people.
I think
right?
the
No, that
funniest
is how
thing-
they get people. They really
get
get you
get on like that
on your
start
lyrics.
rapping on your lyrics.
Yeah, they will.
Isn't that how Bobby
Bobby Shmurda.
Yeah.
And that's what 6ix9ine was getting warned about. Like, don't necessarily indict
Check
yourself.
bodies.
Yeah. Bobby Shmurda had the entire United States dancing to a murder confession.
To a murder confession.
Bro, and
Yo,
think
I
about
was
that.
bumping with that.
Bro.
though. I was bumping with that. I was
Bro.
like, hey.
Yeah, you do this money, you feel me? About a week ago.
I know I could
Kinda
get indicted.
like, oh.
Going Timberton on Billboard.
Cause you know, all the white kids bumping that shit like, what? He got a body? What's that mean?
But like,
Facts.
shit, we were all bumping that shit like.
Nah, we always bumping it. This ain't the first time somebody talking about someone getting clapped. But
Yeah.
the way they did it, it's like allegedly, but they're so vulgar about certain things, saying they naming people, all like, bro, you basically snitching on yourself.
Yeah, but this the thing too. That shit don't pop unless that shit real. And then like also like ain't nobody thinking that shit gonna blow up. And then when it blow up, you just gotta be like, see what happened was I was joking.
Nah, bro.
But no, that's what I'm saying. That's what happened.
Well, like take K.
Bro, if you're really about that life, and you,
Is he on jail?
bro,
Nah,
No,
See, but this is what I'm saying
though.
though. You can never say you about that life.
He had one hit though, right?
yo, bro, real gangsters moving silent. I'm gonna quote your boy. Real gangsters moving silent like
lasagna.
You have to admit, like, come on, that's a fact though. You don't do certain things if
Wait,
you're
look at that
quote
there,
unquote
'cause I think
gangster.
he
You
got it
don't
wrong.
kill women or children, and you don't run your
I
mouth.
think it was
That's
real
right.
fast.
But the G code, first of all, like I said,
There ain't no rules to these streets.
Like
too,
the
though.
G-
not
You
anymore.
understand,
At
bro.
one point in time, people always.
Yeah,
They
at
always
one
say
point in
one
time it was, but bro, there's no rules to these shit. In this day and age, bro.
That's true. Stay safe out.
Don't
these
get me
streets.
wrong though. That's why a lot of people getting caught up. Cause
That's
there ain't
true.
no one there to teach them.
That's true.
Yeah, man. Hope 6ix9ine get all
But
the best.
A lot of that comes from the generation that was above us that was supposed to be teaching us was incarcerated thanks to the war on drugs. So that's a whole nother deep issue, but we're not gonna get into
Hey,
that today.
man, listen. They
Listen.
they were being warned. A lot of people talked to them, but besides the point.
That is. When we come back, though, we're gonna get into some upcoming holidays and.
He's going for life, man. It's over.
It's for
Yeah.
embezzlement,
Allegedly.
I believe.
It was racketeering.
Racketeering and embezzlement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
I mean, it's various stuff. You
And
get
when you messing with the FBI, like.
Hey, listen,
6ix9ine
bro. He still could snitch. Allegedly.
On who? On his boys? That's it, man.
That might not even save his life. But anyway, when we come back, we'll talk to you about some upcoming holidays, see what y'all's thoughts are on it. We'll get back to it. Appreciate you rocking with us this long in the show, all the way to the end. Upcoming holidays. Christmas is right around the corner. Just bought myself my first little Christmas tree for my apartment.
But real or fake?
Fake. I'm not getting no real tree. I got an apartment, bro. Real Christmas trees are people with houses.
See AP walking down the street.
If you got a house, buy you a Christmas tree.
For real.
Like buy a tree.
Got that big, got that G.
Right.
I got Steve.
See, trying to get somebody indicted out there.
Yeah,
Nah, but
I ain't got no cases, guys.
but Black Friday was 2 days ago. 3 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days.
I don't
Today's
know.
Sunday.
Bro.
2 days. 2 days ago. So
2 days ago.
anybody
Cyber
get anything
Monday's
on Black
coming.
Friday? Cyber Monday's coming up.
Fun fact, never went Black Friday shopping ever.
I second that.
I don't really support it, man.
I should got something.
Because
Yeah,
what they do is they just hike the prices up
And
and
then
then they
just,
fucking throw like
discounts on
on it.
So it goes back to the regular price.
Yeah.
I learned that too when I'm not gonna say, but somebody I know was selling something online, and it was like, yeah, I just be hiking the price up, and then I put the discount code on it.
Exactly.
Then you should just go to regular price. I was
Regular
like,
price.
that's crazy. He was like, yeah, I learned that from like I forget what company it was, but it was a major company that like
Yeah,
I
bro,
had
it's
bought
all-
from. I was like, damn, that's really crazy. They got me. Like I had no idea.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it did.
crazy amount.
I think how this whole thing started. Dylan is a history major, but he might be, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there was two people buying up all the gold, and then they were trying to like monopolize the market, and then everything went downhill because they bought all the gold.
Yeah.
But then fucked everything up. I think that's where it comes from. But me personally, never. I don't got time to be going to a store and I pick something up and somebody try to grab it out of my hand talking about that's mine, boy.
No, facts.
I don't care if you're big, you smile, you look bucks. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't playing, bro. I ain't playing.
People just go out there to fight.
Yeah,
People do, yeah.
Bro.
Some people just love fighting, so they just go out on Black
Bro.
Friday. Like, hey, somebody catch
I
me
ran
hands
into two of my friends and we're like, yo, what are you doing out here? I was just waiting to see the fights go down.
Facts. Some people be like,
Like-
listen, everything on sale, including these hands. 2 for 1 special.
Dry biscuit on the side. Boy, hold the coleslaw.
I feel bad
Bro.
though.
Actually, according to this, it actually has no Black Friday. The word Black or term Black Friday has no reference to shopping at all.
Really?
It started in Philadelphia years ago.
Who started?
Early, or middle America time. It's just
Carl, what
simply
city
describing
was
the heavy and destructive pedestrian and vehicle traffic that would occur the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Literally just, it's
That's
a black day because it's a fucking nightmare to get places.
All black people out there.
What the fuck?
I'm joking.
Wait, what?
Philly kicked all his black people out though.
No, I feel bad for the people that have to work on that
That's
day.
the only thing
Right.
about it.
And I feel bad for the
Yes.
people that get
That's the
trampled.
main initial.
Yeah.
Because you get those people that are out there and they get trampled. I'm like, damn, bro, you really died over an Xbox. Like,
Where can I go?
Yo, warm up, bro.
Could you imagine that funeral?
yo, I'm dead.
Paralyzed.
How do you
Little
know this?
Timmy.
Seriously.
Yo, because
How
I'll
did
be
he
like,
die?
I'll be like,
Xbox, that box killer.
my boy,
Imagine dying from the box.
Susan gets up.
Woo!
Susan gets up. Jimmy was a good person. He just wanted an Xbox for Christmas.
Red Dead
Red Dead Redemption.
Redemption, bro.
Carl, you got something on Black Friday?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
I looked up, like, the store I went to didn't have that many people. Because, I went to Marshall's. You know what I'm saying? I went to the discount section for the shoes. There was no deals because that shit was already low as fuck.
Or because they were all size 23 shoes.
That's where I shop.
They were size 13s.
That's where I
took
shop.
2 of
Get
them
your boy
shits.
up.
Took 2 of them shits, $20 a piece.
Oh, what's our
To the
shoe
car,
wear? Okay, I just making sure because some people be like, "Hey, 13s was on sale. I'm a 10 though."
Double stocking.
I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I got some. I
Nigga
got
out
some
here look like
12s.
Ronald McDonald.
Oh,
y'all
tripping everywhere they go. You
Hey,
talking about
chill,
people wearing
bro.
Black.
I'm size 14 out here.
No, but if you
No.
wear your shoe size, it makes sense. I'm talking about people who buy it just because it's the cheapest one
Hey,
to
bro,
get.
just
So-
double stock that shit.
Your
Double
shit
stock
gonna
it.
crease up like some fucking knuckles.
Yeah, double stock that shit, bro.
Yo, fuck
You-
all
if
that.
you wear a 10 and you buying 13s just because it's on sale, ain't no amount of socks gonna get you right.
Yo, you're gonna stuff
That ain't it,
You're gonna
Chief.
stuff it in the front, right? Straight up.
But okay, off of Carl,
No.
like, I really wear 13. Y'all niggas playing with my name. Nah,
I got a Hershey bar.
Ask your girl. I don't know.
It took me 4 stores to find him 14 ski snowboarding boots.
Yeah, bro. It took me
Size
forever
14
to find
boots.
fucking snowboard boots. I
It
got
took 4 stores.
Size 14, man.
And then he hit him with a, let me get him for $50. Okay.
Oh yeah, the guy was like,
It worked?
yeah, sure, $50.
He probably was so ready to move them shits up there.
Skiing equipment is expensive.
He's like,
Nah,
yeah, they're for rentals. They've never been used. I was like, they have the freaking tag on them still, bro.
I see why black people don't be going skiing and shit, bro, man. It's fucking expensive. You spend an arm and a leg just to get the equipment, and then you gotta hike up the fucking mountain, and it's cold up there.
No, there's no hiking involved.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Yo, skiing for us, bro. It ain't for us.
Anyway,
I got a Hershey bar for Black Friday, 78 cents. I'm not telling you where.
big deals.
You know what I'm saying? I'm broke, son, so it's hard.
You would be excited.
It's hard
about
as a
damn
college
Hershey
student
bar,
to go
man.
Black Friday shopping.
I know Dylan likes
I think as a college student, like we don't really do the whole Black Friday shopping shit, bro.
That's facts. You don't got no buddy, so can't shop with like.
Unless the liquor
Yo,
store
you're gonna
has
blow
it.
my face, right?
True.
You're
store
blowing
never
my
has a
face
deal.
real quick. On a real talk, I went with a group of girls for Black Friday shopping. The best part about it is going into Victoria's Secret. Can you blur my face on this?
Oh yeah, good. Don't put a camera on him. Just the reaction.
I want to hear where this is going.
Yeah. Nah, I think it's just... No, it's not.
That sounded very creepy.
Yo, finish before they think you're a pedophile. Go ahead.
You about to be another 6'9", man.
Right.
Hold on.
Come on, Father Bill. Tell him how you preach to the kids.
Yo, it's not even like that. It's just...
How is it
check
like?
out the girls. You just... I mean, the women. But, like, you know what I mean? Like...
I don't know what you mean. Please explain. What the fuck?
Yo, this is why you want to be on this shit. Oh, my God.
No, explain. We're trying to know what you're saying. You said Black
What
Friday
you
was
learn in
lit.
5th grade? Verbalize, vocalize, and...
Oh, my gosh. Yo, don't put me on this shit. Oh, my gosh.
We're really trying to know what you're trying to say. So you said Black Friday. You were
went to
in,
Victoria's Secret, and it was a bunch of
With
girls.
no, I said I went with a group of girls.
Okay.
You
A
want
group
to
of
Okay.
girls that are my age. They went Black Friday shopping. I was just walking around, and I was just like looking at what girls bought, man. That's basically. All right, this sounds
He was
bad.
buying. He was
Oh, so the girls were in there buying lingerie, and you were
Yeah,
like,
no,
"Oh,
we're
that
buying
looked good
lingerie.
on
I was
her."
like,
That's
oh,
what that
word,
you
yes,
were doing.
yes.
Okay.
Basically.
So why'd you just say that?
Because I'm trying to say it, but it sounds creepy when I say it. Like
Because it was.
Why?
Because
Because it was.
No. You're making it sound creepy.
No,
though.
I'm not playing with you, bro.
Yeah, because he got you under the gun.
Hey,
now.
Look, yo,
welcome
listen,
to
right?
Dance with the Brothers, motherfucker.
Right.
No, listen, though.
Wait, get a nod from hers.
Yo, listen, right? He can vouch.
Creepy or
Hold
no?
on, hold
Yo,
on.
come in
Yeah.
here. Is it creepy?
No.
Don't come in here. That's
Thumbs up.
creepy.
She throws a
It's
thumbs up
creepy.
and say
It's
yes.
creepy.
Yeah.
No, it's not. If you go shopping with like a couple
That's
of girls.
creepy as shit.
No, imagine you
Creepy
go
as
shop with
shit.
some girls, and they're getting whatever they get. You're like, yo, hurry up. You turn around. Well, damn there, Sarah.
He said, "Well, damn, there's Sarah."
I'm just saying.
On
like,
that note, we got a couple more minutes here,
All right,
so let's
I'm
wrap
sorry.
this up.
I'm just
No,
saying.
you good. It was
I'm
funny.
just saying.
You got a couple more minutes. But
You know what?
Anyhow.
Over the past week,
What's that?
I got stuck into a bet that I'm gonna run the New York City Marathon.
That sucks, because that's 26 miles.
Can you believe
So
that?
congratulations.
Yeah, bro.
In New
Do
York.
it at your own
Right.
pace.
This shit gonna be cool.
How much you getting paid for that? It's just a regular bet?
No, I was really
Drunk.
Turn.
I was
Nope.
having a good time.
He's in love. He's in
so
love.
I was
You're
having a
in
good
love?
I was
Yeah,
ha-
you're selling
I was
that.
having
You're
a
in
good time.
love?
Selling
I was
secrets.
having a good time somewhere.
Damn, bro, you can't tell
And
him nothing.
I got
He's snitching.
Hold on. Go ahead,
and,
man.
and what happened was the person I was with wanted to get out of the bar with an article of clothing on that they provide you at the bar. Right?
Okay.
And you wear this.
Okay.
And
What kind of bar was this?
and
They give you like a t-shirt.
Rooftop.
Titty bar?
and you're wearing it. No.
Oh.
Right. A themed bar. Never mind. She was previously was like, I need a partner for the New York City Marathon. You could train with me, whatever. Right? We'll make it happen. I was like, a couple hours later, I'm feeling pretty good. You know what? You make it out of the bar with that on, you got a partner. You got a deal.
Okay.
Sure enough.
She found
out
a way
the,
to finesse it.
Yep. Out the bar with it all on, everything, and I'm like, well,
Never doubt a woman's power to get what the hell
Yeah.
she wants. All right,
That was a hell for
especially
you.
at a damn bar. Anyway, real quick before we head out of here, Jordan Lucas, Tory Lanez beef. Who do y'all got Why? Give us a quick take.
Alright,
Give us a quick take.
So, I think Tory Lanez, because obviously I think, you know what? It's not obvious. Let me tell you. I think Jordan Lucas is a better rapper than Tory Lanez, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Tory Lanez your doppelganger, so you rocking with him.
no. What you say, boy? You know, such a Don Cheadle looking at. No, Let me stop.
All right,
But
go ahead.
I think his first response to Lucky You, that was decent.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a warning shot, like, yo, I could really rap.
Okay.
Jordan Lucas came back with like a haymaker, like I think he swung too hard. You feel me?
Okay.
You feel me? I think you gotta.
I don't know, bro.
Hold on. I'm saying
Go ahead.
I think he went too hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?